Right. URC's back this weekend. Kieran, what are we thinking?
So, URC top eight predictions. First of all, teams that I don't think are going to make it. I have the Sharks in ninth place, the Chelsea of rugby, some would say. So many good players, such terrible results. Like to not be making Champions Cup with that kind of team they had last year, even is terrible. So they're not going to make it. Have the Lions not making it, the Ospreys not making it. And so my top eight in number eight, I have Connacht. Number seven, Edinburgh. Number six, Ulster, number five, the Bulls, and all of those teams I do think are only going to make it to a quarter final. Now the Stormers in fourth, I think they're going to make a semi-final. Glasgow in third, again a semi-final. My second place and runner-up is Munster, and of course, champion, ninth title, Leinster Rugby.
Just that was just the least biased Leinster / Irish perspective you could ever get.
All right, let's go to the non-biased
Why do you think
person.
I'm decorated for that prediction?
I don't know. You decorated the last 3 years and you flopped them all. So
Right. Let's go to the non-biased person. Jake, what are your predictions?
well, I think the biggest omission from the top eight for me is going to be Benetton. I think Champions Cup this year is going to put a bit more stress under them. A few big games in the autumn for Italy and obviously the Six Nations. So yeah, I think I've got Benetton missing out in ninth. I think Ulster are going to miss out, and I think Edinburgh are going to underperform once again, much to Aidan's sadness.
Boom.
And I've got no Welsh teams getting in the top eight either. So I've gone number 8 just to make it, the Lions. I've got 7 Connacht, 6 the Bulls, 5 I expect the Money Sharks to make it. 4 got Glasgow, last year's champions. Then Munster in third, Stormers second, and Leinster top.
So, like, why was I biased when I said that? But then when you said,
Because you're biased in everywhere. You just put Leinster top because you support Leinster, and you put every Irish team to get in, and Munster second, your biggest rival.
I do not like Munster. I don't like Munster. It's just they're a good team, and I think they're going to make it high up. I don't want them getting that far.
For my playoffs, I got Leinster. I've actually got Leinster winning, and they'll play
Who's
the
the biased
Bulls.
one now?
Just makes
I think they'll beat the Bulls. I think in the semi-final, Leinster will beat Glasgow, and the Bulls will beat Stormers in Cape Town. That's how I got it ranked.
And Aidan, your first season supporting Edinburgh. How do you think it will go?
I haven't been too biased. I've had a little look at how the teams are going. Omissions, Sharks. John Plumtree coached the Hurricanes for a while. We weren't great in that period, so I don't have a lot of faith in that coaching style. So I think while the players are great, I think they'll miss out on top 8. Benetton as well. Again, like what Jake said, they've got Champions Cup this year, so they're probably going to be a bit more fatigued, which I think will hurt them. My top 8, I got Ulster in 8th, Connacht in 7th, Glasgow, bit of a drop-off. I put them in 6th, and then I put my team, Edinburgh, in 5th. I know it's not too biased, but I think it's a good, strong season from them. I've got the Bulls in 4th. I've got Leinster in 3rd, but wait. Munster to finish above them in the season. And I've got the Stormers topping the season for the year. Although my finals, I've gone Ulster, Connacht, Glasgow, and Edinburgh to all just make quarterfinals, with the semi-finals being Stormers, Bulls, and Munster, Leinster. I think the Bulls will beat the Stormers, and I think Leinster will beat Munster. And then I think it'll be a Leinster Bulls final where the drought will be broken. I think Leinster will win the URC.
I do hear Aidan has just copied all my predictions there.
See, like, I love how I was getting slated for saying Leinster are going to win, and then literally all 3 of our predictions have been Leinster winning so far, and I think we know what
the playoffs. I think they'll win the playoffs. I don't think they'll win. I don't think they'll top the table.
You don't. It doesn't matter if you don't top the table. Like, it's just the
they have to do it this year because they haven't won anything for 3 years now. I think they'll focus on this and lose dreadfully in the Champions Cup. And if Leo Cullen doesn't win this year, get rid of him.
Yeah, and I think it's almost became. Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a campaigner for the Cullen out movement. I think the issue really lies in the 10 position, and like Kieran Frawley, who's a real big game leader, isn't getting the game time at 10. So I think if they can start him now, they haven't put him on their team sheet against Edinburgh. I'm assuming it's because they're resting him, but every big game this season, I want to see Kieran Frawley in there. He's the one that like calls drop goals and all sorts, so he can lead them to the URC and Champions Cup, which I still think should be the main focus. Like just losing 3 finals in a row is just the worst. They have to win that as well. So I don't know. I think a double would be their goal this season. I think it's kind of what's expected of them at this stage. I think they're going to do it as well.
Yeah. I think it's almost like, the way Jake jumped on you there. I think it's almost became a trend to hate what you say and like your takes when everyone's probably gave a similar take to you. But I've actually gone for something quite similar. I've gone for so 8th. I've gone for Aidan's team, Edinburgh. Sorry, but he did get playoffs at least. But I've gone for Ulster 7th. I think they haven't really made many signings to improve. They had a decent finish to the season, but I don't think that'll be enough to carry over into the season. Then I've gone for Connacht 6th. Made a couple of impressive signings, and I am quite hopeful for them going into the new season. 5th, I've gone for the Bulls. I think they massively overachieved last season, making it to that final mainly due to home advantage. Then 4th, I've gone for their rivals Stormers. 3rd, I've gone for the champions Glasgow. 2nd, I've gone for Munster. On top, I've gone for Leinster. I think it will end up being a Munster-Leinster final. I think the Bulls won't make it past the quarters. I think due to like not getting any home games. Yeah, and I think that'll be a Munster-Leinster final, and Leinster to win probably by about 20 points, and the trophy drought will be gone.
Yeah, nice.
I don't like how we've all agreed that Leinster's going to win. I want to change my prediction.
Really?
You're
Yeah.
fucking late now, man. You just
Best team on the planet, though. Well, yeah, on paper
No,
at
not
least.
quite.
second,
On paper.
second best.
On paper, the
Second
best.
best team in history.
In history, hell no.
No, the best second, the best
The
second
best runners
team
up.
in history.
Oh, the best runners
up
up.
in history. 3
Maybe.
runners up in a row. I don't think anyone else has ever
I
done
think Leinster's most difficult team to beat away is the Bulls, who you lost to last year. And I think losing Kirtley Aronside means the Bulls won't get a home run in the playoffs. So I think Leinster should get through relatively easily and win it.
Yeah, because when the Bulls came to the RDS last season, Leinster were playing like it was mainly like a second string starting lineup with some starters on the bench. Leinster absolutely destroyed them. And I think it really just shows how much the altitude helps the Bulls and how much an advantage it is, and how that really made them overperform massively last season. And I don't think it'll be the case this year.
So you've got Altitude FC finishing in the quarterfinals, have you?
I have them 5th and did not make it out of the quarters.
That's what I have as well. They're nothing without their altitude. Like they're absolutely nothing. That Leinster game last season where they beat them in the playoffs, they lost their B team when they were actually not playing at sea level. Like it's just crazy. Like it's not fair to go there and playoffs. So I personally don't think they should be allowed to play playoff games there. It's just that much of an advantage. But then I guess not much you can do about that.
I mean, that's going a bit far. It's their home.
It is
state.
going a bit far.
Every
like,
other team goes there.
but it's such a massive advantage for them. That's really only unique to the Bulls and the Lions.
But the advantage is they're more athletic, they're fitter, because that's the only advantage you really get from other than the ball traveling.
That's not. It's not. They're better they're better acclimatized to that altitude because they live and train there.
Also, a very hostile crowd.
Is it more of an advantage being like altitude or having double the budget of every other squad in the league?
Yeah, no, they're different things, So obviously you can get the better players, but at the same time,
it's got a fair point.
Or maybe being the most decorated historic club in the league.
Hey, you're acting like they're failure. They're just epic failures, which they kind of have been the last couple of years. But they've got.
You're forgetting about 10 to 15 years before that.
I'm not calling them failures. I'm just saying.
Here.
Oh well, let's see how Sarri's do next season then.
Okay.
Double.
So, What's everyone's expectations for their teams this season? Aidan, we'll start with you, considering this is your first season supporting Edinburgh. How do you think they'll do?
I mean, looking through their squad recently, they've got some exciting players, especially their back three. Obviously, Duhan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham on the wings, and Wes Herson at the back. I'm excited by Mosese Tuipulotu as well. If he's anything like his brother, he's going to be a great player. He's going to have a lot of impact. So I think they'll be disappointed if they don't make top 8, and I think they will. I think they'll have a better season than last year. I've been optimistic. I've gone for 5th. I think it's a realistic position to achieve. But there are some good teams this year and some really good players out there. But yeah, 5th is what I'm hoping for / expecting.
That's good. And moving on to Tiernan, how do you think Leinster will do this season?
So obviously Leinster, two big signings this year. No big notable signings, Archie Snyman and Jordy Barrett add to the already stacked Leinster team. They really do not have an excuse but to win a trophy this season. And again, in that club, what they want is this 5th star. They want the Champions Cup. But then if they're going to go win that, you just expect them to win the URC as well. So I really think just because of the drought they've had 3 years and no trophies with one of the best squads in the world, they have their sights set in the double. I think they're going to want to win both. They're going to push to win both. And how they go about that, I'm not sure. As we saw with the lineup versus Edinburgh, you have some of the starting players in there as well as some academy players, the B team players. I think that's going to be the game plan all season. Just have quality in every single team. Don't lose momentum. Try not to lose games. And hopefully at the end of it, get themselves a trophy, possibly two.
And moving on to a team in a different league, Jake, how do you think your Sarries will do this year?
Well, do me.
Flag round.
I see. I think we'll be dominant in the league. No, I don't. Obviously, it's a big transition year. Owen Farrell leaving and big players like sort of the Vinnie Pola brothers. So, there's some big losses. I think the first thing is to really find your feet with a new 10. We've got Fergus Burke come over from the Crusaders. So, that'd be exciting to see how he beds into the team and sort of the Premiership as a whole and the style of play. And yeah, I hope he brings a level like a new sort of attacking style of rugby, exciting style. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've got Saracens finishing 4th in the Premiership this year. I think a slight drop off in performances. I know they finished 4th last year, but they should have done a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, it could be a rocky road. I don't have them winning the Premiership, and I'd like to see them try and do a bit better in the Champions Cup. I think disappointing losses to Bordeaux last year, so I want them to put in better performances against big teams. Still a really, really strong forward pack. It's just the backs are, for me, not as sharp as a lot of other teams in Europe.
And yeah, for me, Leinster this year, part of me is very nervous, but another part of me is thinking a team at this quality which will be even better this year, it's almost impossible for them not to win a trophy. But a part of me remembers what's happened in the last couple of years, and the pressure on this team will be a lot. And I think they really need to learn from the mistakes they made with selection last season. I think they really need to nail down Frawley in that 10 position for the big games and get Prendergast in there for the URC games. And I think if they can get some chemistry going between the players and some consistency with the lineup, I really think they could do the double. But at least one trophy is obviously the only thing that will be accepted this season. But yeah, hopefully a double this year. The URC isn't the only league starting back this weekend. We've also got the Premiership, and one man here who actually has a team in the fight. We have Jake. What are your predictions for the playoffs this year?
Yeah, Premiership's back. Best league in the damn world. My top 4 for the Premiership this year, I've got Bath finishing top, Northampton 2nd, Harlequins 3rd, and then Saracens, sadly, down in 4th. I've gone for Sale to miss out this year. I know they came 3rd last year and second year before, they've been very good, but I just don't think they have the depth and quality of some of the other teams, and if they get their acts together, they should be ahead of Sale. Exeter got Slade is out for 2 months, and I think they're just going to be injured a bit. And yeah, I think Bristol weren't consistent enough last year for me. So yeah, I've got Bath finishing top because their squad is really consistent. It's arguably the best squad, and they've lost pretty much no one. Northampton second. They're still the best attacking team in the league by a mile, and one of the best in Europe. Their attack's hardly changed, but they've lost a few big people in the pack like Courtney Laws, Lewis Ludlam, Alex Waller. So yeah, I've got Northampton second, Harlequins third, lost Esther Hazen, but they signed Iskro, which is very exciting, the Argentinian seventh player of the year in 2023. And yeah, Saracens, my team in fourth. A bit of a drop off, but still a lot of quality.
Yeah, so my top four, I've got Saris finishing fourth, I've got Queens finishing third, and then top two, which really just depends on how their games between two of them go. By far the best teams in the league. I have Northampton finishing second and Bath finishing first. I think Bath will win the league. Just like you gotta look at the quality of that team and Finn Russell, he's crucial for them. Like if you look at their Champions Cup campaign last year, Finn Russell wasn't able to play in that round 16 fixture, they crashed out, but then he was playing suddenly during a premiership final. And I think along with the other quality of the team, like Ollie Lawrence, just an amazing team. I think they'll be hurt by last year not winning that final after I think didn't they beat Northampton a couple of weeks before?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think Northampton got their strongest team. But yeah, he did beat them.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they'll be hurt by last season. I think they really should have won that final, and I think they're going to do it this season.
Yeah, I just want to add quick. I think Bath will win the final as well eventually. Jimmy, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. So I've actually gone for Leicester Tigers fourth, Quins third, Bath second, and Northampton top. I think sorry Jake, but I think Saris will just miss out in playoffs with the likes of Owen Farrell gone now. And I think me and you were talking about the other day, Jake, about how this like Leicester team, it's just stacked with internationals and they massively underperformed
Oh,
last season. And yeah, I think it's really a coin flip between Northampton and Bath, and I really like how Northampton play. I know they've lost the likes of Courtney Laws, but they've some good young talent like Finn Smith coming through, and I think they'll finish top, and I think they'll win the final too.
no, yeah,
Aidan, do you want to say
100%,
anything?
100% with you, Jimmy. And Leicester Tigers, their squad, the players they have, they should easily be at least top five. And finishing eighth last year was so disappointing. But they brought in Michael Checker this year, big name coach. So let's see what he does on the field and what he does off the field is what I'm most excited for.
Aidan, do you want anything added to
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I'm probably the least qualified here to talk about this league. But in my top four, I do have Saracens missing out. I think I've got them finishing fifth. I think they've lost too much going into the season. A little bit of a rebuild phase, as we talked about earlier. I just don't think it'll be enough consistent quality to get them into that top four. I've got Bristol in fourth, Pale Am. I just like them. That's why I put them there. Northampton, I've got finishing third. I know they were the winners last year and they've got a really exciting attacking style of rugby. But I've always sort of thought, the Northern Hemisphere is ruled by the best defenses. So I've got them finishing third. I've got Bath in second. I know, obviously, Finn Russell is going to be there this season, and he's obviously a quality player. I don't think it's the player that's just going to turn them around and make them a competition-winning team. But nonetheless, I think they'll be in the fight for that top spot. And I've got Quins finishing first. I just think they've got a lot of exciting players. Marcus Smith at 10, I think he's probably one of the best 10s in the world at the moment. I love the way he plays. He's turning to a real consistent number 10. I know he struggled for a little bit, especially in that England jersey, but he's sort of coming into his own. He's playing with confidence. And at club rugby, I think he's just going to tear it up. And then they've obviously got Cunningham South as well, who really impressed me in the tour down to New Zealand when playing for England. So I've got them finishing first, although I have Northampton to win it again in the playoffs.